Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John, here with Kaiser today to give you a rundown on the week past. And quite the week it has been, with drones flying all over the world or in the country that we cannot identify. We have a government agency that doesn't know who or what these drones are. Interesting at best. Then we have all of the things that are going on with the governors of sanctuary cities arguing about whether or not they're going to let Mr. Holman do his job as far as rounding up the illegals that have to be deported and that are slated to be deported, criminals first. And a meeting took place yesterday in New York City between the mayor and Mr. Holman, which went, I understand, quite well. He is willing to work with it, but if you look at the aspect that Mayor Adams spent a lot of time as a policeman in New York and is fully aware of the dangers for his citizens in the city of New York. And he will cooperate and work with the federal government to take care of cleaning up the criminal element that is running loose in the streets of New York and threatening people on subways and in stores and in some cases for no reason at all in the streets as visitors are passing by. It's not a great state of affairs for New York City, nor Chicago, nor San Francisco. And don't even get me started about Southern California with what's going on in San Diego, where they're fortifying to prevent the loss of illegal immigrants back over the border where they came from. So, but that's California, and if they keep up this nonsense, they're going to be in for a rude awakening because it is a federal crime in the United States to cross the border illegally and dwell in this country without permission or without the proper paperwork. They are in jeopardy because they have broken the law. And it's clean and simple. It has to be dealt with and dealt with now. And that brings us to the border that is still porous, still welcoming people to crash it. And this will continue right up until Joe Biden leaves that office and takes his entourage with him of bad decisions. And that's coming. But in the meantime, what he is going to do to prevent Donald Trump from continuing the wall building is all of the product that we have paid a lot of money for and during the Biden administration was stuck in warehouses or left out in the weather. He is selling off right now. Pennies on a dollar he's going to take for this necessary materials to complete the wall so he can stymie any efforts by the incoming administration to do anything about getting that wall completed. So that's going on right now. And if you really forgot where we have gone during this administration with regard to illegal aliens entering into this country and getting a free-for-all with free hotel rooms, social programs, cell phones, you name it, they have been cajoled and taken care of on their entire trek through this country and being positioned in whatever state they have deemed that they would like to go into. So you have that going for you. And we'll just look at this little clip that we put together and tell us what you think.
But look at what I've inherited and what I've done.
But the system is broken. We want to do this in a bipartisan way. Republicans refuse to do that.
The charge from the Congresswoman that the White House hasn't taken up recommendations from fellow Democrats on how to deal with this issue more through executive action or otherwise because of concerns of how Republicans might react, you would say what?
I would say this. The president has done more to secure the border and to deal with this issue of immigration than anybody else. He really has. The president has done more to secure the border and to deal with this issue of immigration than anybody else. He really has.
Oh, really?
Did Mr. Holman make any specific request from the city in order to work with you in this crisis?
His desire is clearly, again, what my target area is. And what I've learned also from sitting down with him and a representative from the Biden administration that was there in the meeting as well, we have 500,000 children who had sponsors in this country that we can't find.
Such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president of the United States. Want to know what comes next.
That he belongs up there on Mount Rushmore. Lincoln and Joe Biden.
But you got Teddy Roosevelt up there, and he's wonderful. I don't say take him down, but you can add Biden.
We can't find them. We don't know if they're doing child labor. We don't know if they're doing sex crimes. We don't know if they're being exploited. 500,000 children. There's a level of hypocrisy that everyone that states they want to protect everyone but innocent individuals who are victims of crimes and children.
The border is secure.
500,000 children, we don't know where they are right now in this country.
Unbelievable, isn't it? That's 4 years of Joe Biden and his wonderful, wonderful administration, who Kareem Jean-Pierre believes that he has done a marvelous job at what he has accomplished. In the book of Biden accomplishments, it will be one of the shortest and the fewest pages of any book ever published.
Radical.
Because nothing has taken place that he can hang his hat on in any way, shape, or form other than the destruction of every program that was put in place to control our border, to control our economy, and the like. Now, if they were giving awards for spending money and spending money frivolously, I believe it would be a toss-up right now between Joe Biden and the fact that Kamala Harris managed to just absolutely waste and piss through $1.5 billion dollars in that campaign effort to pay celebrities to endorse her and come out and actually do nothing to help her campaign, but she thought better of it. Anyway, now she owes $20 million, and they're trying, at best, the DNC is going to do a few fundraisers to get money back in the coffers so they can continue their problems with getting the debt paid back.
Weak sauce to show up with your running mate. The fact that they don't have enough confidence in her to let her sit herself, the actual top of the ticket.
What is Harris's biggest accomplishment to date as vice president?
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing this anymore.
I'm just glad to see a woman of color in charge for once. That's it.
This is a good one. I don't know.
Brother, what's that?
I don't understand how people say that Biden and Harris have not accomplished anything within the past 4 years. Yes, they have. They've allowed 15 million illegals into this country. Like, that's a lot of work, guys. There's been a historic inflation crisis. Record high gas prices in all 50 states. Like, that's huge. Record consumer debt. They've released terrorists into this country. There's been the Ukraine-Russian war and Israel-Hamas war. And violent crime skyrocketing. Like, they've accomplished a lot.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I understand that they're looking to get their money back, some of these celebrities that have ruined their reputations over this past election, but we'll see where that goes. And as I always say here, if you have to rely on a Hollywood celebrity to tell you how to take care of voting and who to vote for and why you should vote for them, then you need some help, because these people, especially the actors, make a living pretending to be somebody they're not, and they do not have the smarts, and in some cases have a 6th grade education and got lucky in life. And these are not the people I'm going to take advice from, and I strongly suggest that you do not either. That brings us to the fact that there are a congressman and a senator talking about the fact that they do not like the cabinet picks of Donald Trump and are going to press hard to not try to nominate them, but if they are forced into by any means in having to approve his cabinet picks, they want to set up a shadow cabinet. In other words, a mirror cabinet of the bad guys that can fight against the good guys. This is not what America voted for, and this is not what America needs right now. We need unity, and that's what Donald Trump is promising us, unity, and to fix some of the problems we have. Now, they're basing their idea on the UK having a shadow cabinet, but we have a constitution, and we fought a revolution to get away from the UK idea of the way to run things, and I'm not at all sure that that should be allowed to happen. And I urge you all to call your senators, call your congressmen, and tell them what your thoughts are. You have an opportunity right now to find out, and I hope that they show who votes what way, and it should be a roll call vote so you know that if your senator, especially a Republican senator, went against the grain on this, make sure that in the interim elections that they do not get reelected. Let them die on their own petard, because there's a lot of nastiness that sits in those Senate seats, and there's a lot of nastiness that is still sitting in some of the House seats that need to be reevaluated by us, we, the people. What else is going on out there today? Well, it's been a hell of a week with drones all over New Jersey that no one can identify. That's taken up the news cycle. But the big part of the news cycle that they are not talking about on legacy media is the fact that the reports came out on the attempted assassinations of Donald Trump. And this guy that was in the bushes in Florida, obviously the Secret Service did fire upon him and emptied out 6 shots, all missing him from 5 feet away. And if you can explain to me how a trained Secret Service agent who qualified on weapons, would have to qualify on weapons, would miss somebody at 5 feet if their intent was to hit this person. Also, it came out in this report that they were told at 2 a.m. of the change of plans for him to go to that golf course. So how did this guy get word when the Secret Service was told this at 2 a.m. to be there, get ready, and set up as early as he did? There's a lot of questions here, and it is absolutely not being fessed up by anyone that's in charge at the Secret Service or the FBI of what took place there. They're still trying to figure out why the sloped roof was too steep to put a person on to protect the president from being shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. There's too many open gaps in the stories here, folks, and we need to get down to the bottom of it before we see another attempt at Donald Trump's life. We'll take a look at this.
Fox News alert. We got 2 new revelations from the Trump Assassination Task Force. According to their report, the Secret Service agent who spotted Ryan Ruth in the bushes outside Trump's golf course was only 5 feet away when he opened fire and missed him. Not once, not twice, 6 times. He missed him 6 times from 5 feet.
Think about that.
How does a trained agent who passed the firearms test miss a target away, 5 feet away? That's not all. The report says the Secret Service found out at 2:30 in the morning that Trump would be golfing later that day, but they didn't secure the course, allowing Ruth to camp out for 12 hours before anyone saw him. Meanwhile, Ruth appeared in federal court this morning, and his legal team signaling they're going to go with the insanity defense. How convenient. Was only 5 feet away when he opened fire and missed him. Not once, not twice, 6 times. He missed him 6 times from 5 feet.
Harry, you're alive! And you're a horrible shot.
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof.
Isn't that very interesting? I find it so. The other news this week that is creeping through certain channels but not being really brought up by legacy media one more time is the fact that the Chinese have infiltrated this country in great numbers. They have bought up farmland. They have bought up businesses, and now it came out the other day that they're in banking in this country.
Are you kidding me?
So the enemy within is well documented by Donald Trump. We know this, and how did they get here? Probably right through the southern border, or invited to cross over our northern border by our good friend Trudeau. So we have them in numbers in this country right now, and why it has been allowed for a communist Chinese to purchase our farmland and then tell us that we don't have enough farms growing food for our nation now is something that needs to be looked into. It's bad enough that China is holding a gun to our head with the drugs we need because manufacturing of drugs was moved over there, and now they control life-saving drugs that have to be put in and shipped into this country from China, and they could shut that valve off at any time. Which brings us back to the drone situation. I'm not entirely sure or convinced that China's not involved with that.
That's the one going up the shore. Scott Ingenito was fishing Saturday at Island Beach State Park when he saw what he describes as lights brighter than stars forming over the horizon.
When they came toward the shore, it changed from a bright white light to a winged craft with flashing lights.
Doesn't seem to be bothered.
He says it was so strange, he's barely slept since.
It came directly over my head, which scared me. I don't know what it is. It's not a plane. If you've seen one, you'll know it's not a plane.
Without any answers from the feds, speculation runs wild. Theories range from otherworldly UAPs to test programs from Amazon or Google. Both tech giants tell us they're not responsible.
Whatever it is, if the government's not saying anything, it's really scary. I mean, if they have to know something after all this time.
They have to land somewhere, right? So why isn't somebody tracking it and seeing where it lands?
Middletown Mayor Tony Perry spoke to that point on the Pix 11 Morning News. He says commercial drones give off a signal that police can intercept. These drones seem different.
State police have been unable to acquire a signal coming off of these drones to be able to lower them to the ground.
He says their estimated battery life is 6 to 8 hours, suggesting they're military grade.
The state keeps saying, and the federal government keeps saying, that there's no imminent threat. Until you tell me where these are coming from and who's responsible for them, they're an imminent threat.
And I believe nothing of what the White House came out and talked about yesterday. It was ridiculous. And they just lie. Straight face while we're asking the questions. And Kirby, oh my God, this guy needs to take a long walk off a very short pier because he's useless and has done nothing but lie to us for the entire 4 years that he's been involved. His biggest job in this administration, excuse me, getting over that cold has been rough. But his biggest job in this administration has been bailing out Kareem Jean-Pierre when she gets nailed too hard at the podium. He steps in and tries to explain things in the Kirby way, which makes no sense at all. But at least he's coherent most times, and he thinks he's believable. This is the press pool, I believe, do not think he's credible. And we'll see if we can find a little something on that to insert here.
Now, finally, I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace.
When it becomes more clear through this platform, Rumble, Truth Social, and places where we can get the truth on X, sometimes you can find out things, but research is needed to identify more of what is really going on. But when they talk about, a congressman comes up and talks about that they're being run from a mothership that is off the coast. Well, let's take that into a pure magnifying glass and look at what could be the truth here and is a possibility. And I'm not an expert in this. I'm not an expert in drones. The last time I flew a drone, it got stuck in a tree outside, and it's still up there. So not an easy thing to do. You have to be trained, especially if you're going distances with these things. And some of these are self-driven. Elon could tell us about that. But let's look at a scenario. Yes, there are no ships off the port or off the shore that people can lay an identifying mark on. But let's look at this. You have a harbor in Elizabeth that has, at any given time, 3 to 4 Chinese ships unloading goods in there. What's to say that one of those ships that is lined up to take their goods off is not being used as the mothership for these things? It's Jersey. It's right there. There's a port in Pennsylvania that's down near Philadelphia. There's ports up and down the East Coast that could harbor a ship that is the mothership for these drones, if they are as large as they're saying they are, which is the size of an automobile. I've heard everything from school bus to minis, but it's the size of an automobile. Let's just say that that is correct. And then now there's talking about that it is a wheel within a wheel, and they're trying to identify these things. We have the ability in our government to identify these things, but no one is taking on the task of doing that. So I believe that they already know who's doing it, and it could very well be our own government that is sending these things up there. But I severely worry about commercial air traffic being interdicted by one of these drones and causing a major catastrophe. Why is not the government being on the up and up with us? And if they're not involved, they sure as heck should be involved, and they need to be involved sooner rather than later and not let this thing fester any further, scaring the hell out of the population of South Jersey. But it's not just there. It's throughout the country that they're sighting these drones. And now we're being told, oh, it's just airplanes. Well, airplanes file a flight path with the FAA, and they need to do that. And the FAA and the air traffic control centers know where the legal flights are taking place. So it's very easy to check to see what aircraft were in what vicinity at what time, any time of day. But again, this administration talks to us like we're children that don't talk back. We're telling you that we don't know. That's scary in its own right. That's just one of the things that's going on in the last few days, that this administration is trying to set traps, trying to muddy up the waters for a smooth transition after they promised a smooth transition. And we have an incoming cabinet that is wanting to have unity one more time in this country, and unity between the sides of the aisle. And the Democrats will not bend to that idea. why? Ask them why. You have the ability. They all have a phone in Washington that you can get to them. There are questions that need to be answered. There's a lot of things that they are in fear of having uncovered, and that is becoming more and more evident. We have been lied to and taken advantage of, and our country is in a little trouble right now, but the shot to fix it is coming on January 20th, and I have all of the faith in the world in this administration that is coming on board right now. And with that, we pray that he goes without another assassination attempt or an attempt by low-lying government people that would like to destroy he and most of his cabinet. So it is Friday. We're looking at a wonderful weekend here. It is the Christ season. It is the Christmas season. It's Hanukkah time. There's things to be thankful for. There's things to celebrate. Go out, and I did my Christmas shopping yesterday. I got my Christmas shopping completed. I am so happy. I'm not waiting till the last minute. In years gone by, I've been out on Christmas Eve looking for certain things that I either forgot to buy or it dawned on me that I was missing something for someone in the family or a friend. So I'm caught up this year early. I'm ready to celebrate. And as I told you, we're going to have some film over Christmas, and we're going to be at a very nice place over Christmas to bring you what Christmas is like in an upscale atmosphere with people enjoying the God-given gifts that we have at our disposal, especially in this area right here in East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, West Virginia, and Western North Carolina. We live in heaven right here. Even though we have problems with the hurricane hitting and things of that nature, people have come to be wonderful helping other people, whether it's hammering a nail in someone's front door to repair something, or bringing food, or bringing clothing, and well wishes to people that are suffering, because it means so much this time of year. So remember, God gave his only Son to us to forgive all of us. So why wouldn't we have the same courtesy among each other? Not driven by anything but love. And with that, we can't go wrong. So Christ is coming back to this country full on. I'm convinced that Donald Trump is alive today because of the intervention of the Almighty. And with that kind of power behind him, he'll accomplish what he's promised to accomplish. And I'm going into the Christmas Eve season believing that and looking forward to a new year, a dawning of a new golden age of prosperity and people learning how to help others, not fight against others. And that goes worldwide. So hopefully these wars will come to an end very soon. I know that Syria right now is a mess, and we have that going for us, but that too will take care of itself if left to their own devices to do that and not getting involved in any kind of a military situation or a redistribution of someone else's land and ideas. So we've got that covered, and the drones have been covered, and we're looking at now, going into next week, I guess, some confirmation hearings and things of that nature that will take place in the Senate with some of the Trump picks for various cabinet positions that we hope will be approved, and we can get down to business immediately on the 20th of January.
Nip it in the bud.
Xi Jinping was invited to the inauguration by Donald Trump. He has declined, but he will be sending an ambassador in his stead to attend. We'll see where that goes. I was hoping that Xi Jinping would come himself, but he's probably still afraid of Biden. So, not that Biden did any good with him. I think he was looked at as very weak among the world leaders in plural. So we'll see who does come up and go to the inauguration. But he was invited. And we'll see what other world leaders may have been invited. We don't know yet, but it should be an interesting day for us. I guess the Jan 6 stuff all came out yesterday in the FBI reports that there were 20-some FBI picked people in that crowd that helped them along and made the suggestions to go into this building and that building. It's come out now, and it's no wonder why Ray is resigning from his position. I'm sure he's got something lined up with one of the defense contractors or one of these high-level corporations that will hire him to do something.
Come on.
But I think he's running now because he knows he's going to be replaced. And it looks like he's going to be replaced with Kash Patel, who I wouldn't want to hang around and let him hang me when they find out the full depth of this Jan 6 nonsense, and also the fact that most of the important paperwork on it has been shredded by Cheney and others. And that will all come out. But by destroying the documents, they think they're safe. And, of course, we always have the pardon wand that will take place with Joe Biden, and they'll get them out of trouble.
I suppose.
And the other thing that if you use the comments section below, let me know how it is that someone can be pardoned for crimes that they haven't been charged with yet. And these blanket pardons that he's talking about doing, is it even constitutional? Someone needs to run this through the constitutionalists that maybe be sitting on the Supreme Court or somewhere else in this government to find out if it's even legal. Now, will that stop Biden? Probably not, because he's done a lot of things that were unconstitutional and gotten away with them, such as the student loan things and all of that, which are going to be DOA now. So we're wishing you, from the Kaiser Report, Kaiser and I would like to wish you the happiest weekend. Go out, do some Christmas shopping. If you have a lot of credit card debt, don't make it any worse. And get some mistletoe, hang it up, give your lady a kiss, decorate the house, and enjoy this season, because everybody is going to go back to work, and back to work very, very hard in January. It's coming, and we're looking forward to it. But let's celebrate the birth of the Christ child together as one unified country for a change. God bless you all. And remember, we'll be back here to see you on Monday. But until then, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for your commentary and news bits and some wonderful, wonderful looks at Appalachia. Bye-bye now.